Yeah.
Oh, that's so mean, is all I think. We've had to do them without a stream, and that's entertaining. Come here, you want? I got taller than you. Huh? That's really bothering you, isn't it? I'm up here, and you're down there. It's kind of fun. This is how I felt when I was on dam. Yeah, you're down there. Hi. Come here. Yeah. Come on.
This is so cute, his face.
It's funny how when you get into a different position, it changes their perspective on you completely.
Well, they have a exercise that you do in colt starting with the down under horsemanship called pick me up off the fence. And you sit on the fence and you lunge, you have them go back and forth all around you and flap the saddle and lean on the saddle.
This idea of you being taller than them is weird. Oh, hi. Well, as long as you can rub my head, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I have done with Dan quite a bit is mounting blocks.
Uh-huh.
And he's so autopilot now, when I go to get on him at home, I'll put the reins up.
And he'll line up?
Climb up the mounting block and he'll come over and position himself for me. Makes you really spoiled, let me tell you.
Well,
you know, pays off.
Well, that's something I've always been very excited about the mare is she will stand like a rock for me at the mounting block.
That's exactly what you want.
And to me,
that's
you know,
a horse that will stand.
And she knows I'm coming and she knows I'm going to be flopping around and stuff. And it doesn't seem to
very handsome, yes I do. She's waiting for whatever happens.
Yeah. Oh, he says, I've seen Mom do that.
Yeah, well, hopefully Mom does it with her left foot, not her right one.
Yeah.
So if that idiot swings her leg over right now, she's going to be sitting backwards, and that's not what we really have in mind.
Oh, you have your foot in the stirrup?
Yeah.
Oh, it must be terribly short.
Yes. Well, the other day I took Dan over to the park to watch the kids play frisbee golf.
Uh-huh.
Another one of those sensory things. Watch your children throw frisbees at trees. And this little boy came running over to see him. And you always love that when you see the kid running down the hill at you, you know. He was about 4. And when he stopped, his head was a good 6 inches below my stirrup. Yeah, I'm a really tall horse. And then his grandfather comes over. His grandfather's in a wheelchair. So the combination of the two of them looking up at my horse's belly, you know. Hi. You might not want to be quite that close. He's good, but don't go under him. Please.
Yeah. He might side pass over you, but you may not like it.
we could. Hold real still so he doesn't step on you. Huh. What do you think? Oof.
Good boy. What a good boy. Oh, he says, I got an itch.
Yeah, really, lady, could you rub my head? That's really weird.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a full service thing, huh? Oh. Better? Thanks for spitting on my shoe.
Yes.
Here now. Yeah. Dan grooms me sometimes, and it's a little leery.
Yeah.
He'll be rubbing his withers, and all of a sudden I'll feel his nose rubbing my back. And as long as that's all he does, I'm okay with that. Sometimes he gets a little nippy and we have to stop, but most of the time it's just the nose.
Well, when we were in the Netherlands, it was funny. I didn't know who the mare was bred to.
Uh-huh.
I had bought her. They told me the name, but didn't mean anything to me.
Uh-huh.
And we're in this barn. There's hundreds of black horses.
Well, yeah, you're in a Frisian barn.
They all look alike. They're all hairy and, you know, and they're getting ready for the stallion show. Well, this one horse was standing with a snaffle bridle on and a halter in his stall. And he put his head over and he had just the cutest look on his face. And he was just dying for someone to come over and say hello. The other horses were kind of, you know, half asleep or head in a corner. This horse wanted attention. So we were in a group, we were being lectured by this, you know, 8-foot tall, stern looking Dutch woman, Aryan goddess, yes. And I was standing there listening to her talking, and this horse, I just couldn't help it. I went over to him.
He was so inviting.
And, you know, and like the group was here and the horse was probably over there. And I went over and I just started scratching him like this and petting on him. And he reached over and he started scratching me. Well, I had on a big coat. So I let him. And so I have my hands on either side and I'm scratching him like that. And he's, whoa, we're just having so much fun. And all of a sudden, I realize that there's no talking going on. And I look over, and this woman is standing right next to me. And she's looking at me. And I have my hands like this on this horse, right? And she says, "You like him?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And she broke into this beatific smile. She said something in Dutch to this girl. The girl ran over, got a lead rope, went in the stall, took his blanket off and handed him to me. And it was his daddy.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know it.
Wow. Talk about meant to be.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's the same disposition.
And I walked him out of the stall and I'm like, "You're letting me hold this horse worth how many millions, you know?" And then I got my picture taken with them, and then everybody wanted their picture. The whole thing changed. We went around to every horse. They got out the horses. We got our pictures taken with them. It went from a lecture to
now,
putting...
Is he still alive?
Yeah. His semen doesn't ship, or I'd breed to him.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Only way you can get this is to buy it and bring it here.
Well, you'll have to send him baby pictures. Because that disposition is what you got.
Well, I couldn't believe it. I found out, and they said, "Well, this is Volker, blah, blah, blah." And then the host came over, Jan came over and said, "Oh, that's who your mare's bred to." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
You couldn't have picked him nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you went into the barn to pick the stallion you wanted to breed to,
yeah,
he told you who it was, you know. That's a good boy. Oh.
Maybe just hang over the saddle a little?
Hang.
Yeah.
That really helps let you go immensely. Let me tell you. Tip the freezing over. Can you stand without like side passing on top of me? Move over the guy. Yeah, thanks. Brace yourself. That's actually something they do with vaulting horses. They'll hang on one side of the rig a lot. Because they have to be able to accommodate all the changes of balance on their back.
Oh my God. Well, I've never understood how they can take those riders posing on them.
They do.
And maintain the canter and not
actually,
break.
From a vaulting coach standpoint, you really try to balance your tricks.
Ah,
so
yes.
You're not hanging. You tend to be very centered. And even when you watch with 3 riders up there,
they're balancing
they tend to
each
be right
other
across the spine,
yeah,
or counterbalanced enough that they can do it. But it's important that they have a horse who can compensate for the changes up there. And Kenny Geisler, who his mom coaches up in Diamond Bar, wonderful national champion a couple of times, went to the World Equestrian Games a couple of times.
Oh boy.
His trick was a mount to a handstand.
Ooh.
He doesn't touch the horse. He grabs that rig handle and he goes straight to a handstand. Now, it's what he called his 40% trick, because 40% of the time he nailed it, and the other 60% he had to find ways to compensate and make it look good because it wasn't happening. But they had Goliath, and I think Goliath was a Shire quarter horse cross. He was probably 17 hands, a good sized horse. He was stout though, and he could handle that sort of thing. But they went out and tried out a horse one time, and Kenny almost pulled the horse over. And Kenny's little, he's shorter than me. I mean, he's all upper body, this body. But he went to pull on the horse, and the timing was just funny, and the horse had no idea how to deal with that. And it just kind of went sideways on top of him. You know, it's like, well, no, this one's probably not suitable. But when they start a vaulting horse, you start them obviously having impeccable lunging manners, and lots of mounts and dismounts at the walk.
Yeah.
And they do all of the walk work, and they learn to get used to all the silly shenanigans. They also learn to ignore their riders really well, because they're not supposed to get cued by a leg bumping them. to learn to just listen to your plunger.